Speculation season for Halloween Horror Nights is in full swing as Speculation Map version 2 is here. Hello everybody and welcome back. It is Michael from Hallowed Thrills back with another video, and today we're talking about, that is right, Horror Night Nightmares Speculation Map for HHN 34 version 2. Now this was provided to us last weekend during Easter. It was a little special Easter edition of the Speculation Map, and we have a ton of changes. I know the Speculation Map version 1 was only, I think, a couple weeks ago at this point. And we already have version 2 with so many changes and so many things moved around. But before we get anything though, please make sure you subscribe and have the bell notifications turned on to get notified whenever I post a video. And also make sure you follow me with Instagram and X. The links are down in the description below. But without further delay, let's break down this speculation map, starting off with Soundstage 23A. As always, like I said, we're starting in the front of the park, all the way up at Soundstage 23A, and this is one of the locations that has stayed the same on this map. This is still those ship masts, ship sails with a little flag on the top and the waves, but it is starting to become more clear as to what we may be seeing here regarding this this property or this original at this location, as it is more than likely now going to be an original at this spot, as a lot of rumors and speculation are pointing to that. And last time I'd said the possibility of pirates, but now there is a lot of speculation of it being Vikings or Spanish conquistadors. We had the St. Augustine style house over at Sir Henry's Haunted Trail last year. Really love that house, and I would love to see Horror Nights take on something similar to that. But I will say, between those two things, the Vikings are looking like the more likely of the two. Could this possibly be Vikings Undead from Horror Nights 29 coming into the event? Could that possibly be what's going to happen with this, or is it just going to be a completely different take on Vikings and Norse mythology? I'm not entirely sure, but I'm open for it. I'm open for anything with Norse mythology, as I think that is something that hasn't really been dove too deep into in Horror Nights lore. But let's move on to an interesting one, and one that has changed, as Soundstage 22 right there in Music Plaza has changed drastically. So on the previous speculation map, we had that thumbs up, which everyone thought was Fallout. That one we'll talk about in a little bit. It has not been completely removed from this map, so don't fret, but a new property has been added into that section, and this is what appears to be just two columns with attached by like some rope and a coffin in front of it. Now you might be thinking, okay, that gives us nothing. Well, it does give you something if you were hearing about speculation during the early off season, as well as part of last year on top of that. And with WrestleMania being last weekend, there was a bunch of talks about how they are having a sweepstakes for Universal. Could this be the WWE coming back to Horror Nights? Yes, the WWE has been at Horror Nights previously. I know they had a house over in Hollywood with WWE No Mercy with a theme to The Undertaker. This one, from that symbol, it looks like basically a wrestling ring, or at least the side profile of a wrestling ring with a coffin. Now, there is two things that this could be. We could go back to The Undertaker and bring No Mercy over here to Orlando. As much as I would love to see that, I don't think that that's likely. Another thought process is something that people were bringing up long ago, which was the Wyatt 6 being a possibility coming to this year's event, with Bray Wyatt unfortunately passing. We could possibly be seeing the extension of his ideology in this house. What I personally would like to see, though, is just an overarching compilation house of basically the entirety of horror being implemented in WWE. So you have the Wyatt Six, you have Kane, you have Paul Bearer, you have The Undertaker, you have the Boogeyman, you have Mankind, you have all these different superstars and different wrestling characters that have their own backstories and everything regarding horror, and I would love to see how Horror Nights would develop a house around that, and I would like to see where they go with it. I'm not sure if that's exactly what their plan is, but this one is something that I want to keep my eye on because it does have me very excited. But let's move on to Soundstage 23B, as there are, once again, a change here at this location as well. As last map we had those, that strip of movie reel with the drips coming down from it. And now we have basically a logo that was moved from a different spot. On the last map, this logo was at the Fast and Furious location, and now it has moved to Soundstage 23B. And that is that surveillance camera that everyone believes is Five Nights at Freddy's. I really don't have much else to say about this. I think we did win big here if this is the case, if Five Nights at Freddy's is actually in a soundstage rather than being in the Fast and Furious queue. I think that this is huge. Personally, love the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, so I'm excited to see this come to the event if it does happen. But let's move on to another one that has stayed the same. This is Soundstage 24B, and it's still that logo, that unknown logo of the circle with the city skyscape in it, and the wings and the scythes, and it's all weird. We still don't really have a big idea of what this is. There are some rumors. I am sticking with my one for Return of the Fallen. Personally, I would love to see that come to the event again, but there are a lot of thought processes of this being related to a former scare zone over in Hollywood being known as Urban Inferno. I don't know much about this scare zone, but I do know that it was a very popular scare zone during its time frame over in Hollywood. And a lot of the characters were walking around with big wings, scythes. It was themed to, like I said, urban, to the city. And a lot of them had these masks that had horns on them and looked like skulls. So, I mean, this really does fit that. So I can understand why people are thinking this. Personally, though, I just think that this is going to be more themed to like fallen angels. And I would love to see the Fallen return. But it's up in the air. Once again, this is more going to be an original than anything, so it could be literally anything and we could all be wrong. But let's move on to Soundstage 25, as the last time we were talking about this, it was the magnifying glass with a little ghost inside, and this has now changed to something that a lot of people are speculating heavily on what this could be. And that is because of the facade work that is being done over in Hollywood. Now, Hollywood and Orlando do share IPs, and this is one of the locations that we are sharing. And the facade work has already started for this particular house, or at least what we are speculating that it is this house. And from what people are saying is that this facade being built over in Hollywood is very reminiscent of a facade that was made for a house at HHN 28, that being Poltergeist. And the logo that we have now for this location is what looks like a ghost basically trapped in a light bulb, with the lights being a big part of the Poltergeist franchise, with them flashing and turning on, and the dead lights and everything. I do believe that this is more than likely going to be Poltergeist. Is it going to be the original, or are they going to bring in the second and third films? I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, we did have the original at HHN 28, and it was one of the scariest houses that I have been through since I've been going to the event. And I think that it would be great to see it come back. Would I have preferred something different? Absolutely. But I mean, 2018 was, wow, 7 years ago at this point. So I could understand why Poltergeist would be coming back. It is such an iconic franchise and an iconic movie. So having it come back to the event makes sense. But let's move on to the Fast and Furious location. Now, earlier I said the Fast and Furious queue, and that is because officially as of, I believe, earlier this week, the extended queue for Fast and Furious has been cut off and boarded up like it has been in the past when we had houses in the actual queue itself. This was when we used it for Blumhouse and Chucky Ultimate Kill Count. Both of them used that extended queue and had a very similar path. Now, like I said, Freddy Fazbear and Five Nights at Freddy's has moved out of this location for now, and another has moved in from that previous map. And the garbage bag icon is now showing up in here, which a lot of people are still thinking is Terrifier. Now, there are rumors that this is not actually Terrifier, and a lot of people are thinking that it could be the main man here, Jason. A lot of people think that Jason could be coming to the event this year, Friday the 13th. Do I think that the trash bags are relating to that? I don't know, man. To me, Terrifier makes way more sense for those trash bags. I personally would love to see it. I would love to see more gory horror come to the event. So Terrifier makes way more sense to me. But then again, I have never seen Jason at a Horror Nights event since I have been going. The last time he was at the event was in 2015 for HHN 25. So it is definitely a long time coming since we've seen him or Freddy. So it would be a welcome addition personally for me. But let's move on to Tent 3. As once again we have one that is stayed the same. It's still that storybook with the snowflakes, and there are a couple things that people are talking about, whether this be once again scary tales but winter themed, whether this be Killer Kringles from the Slaughter Cinema 2, or whether this just be like a Christmas fairy tale type house where it's similar to Scary Tales, but it's all themed to Christmas stories like 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, Jack Frost, different stories like that, basically turned evil. I'm fine with any of those. I would love to see how they would do that. Another thought process that I had is that maybe this could be related to Universal Monsters. I know I said in a previous video that I don't think they're coming to this event, but this could be related to the books that we saw throughout the previous house, being the Eternal Bloodlines, and the fact that snow was a big part of that house as well. And this was one of the location and the entrance for that house as well last year. So I'm not entirely sure. It does have me worried though about what this could be. Well, let's move on to tent number 4. Tent number 4, like I said, last map was those trash bags, and since those trash bags have moved, we now have something new in this spot. Just kidding, it's something that moved from another location. A lot of moving on this map of properties that were in other areas. Earlier I said that that thumbs up had moved, and this is where it moved to. Tent 4 is the new home of, or possible new home of, Fallout. Everyone's still thinking that this is Fallout. It is unmistakable what this could be, but there are rumors narrowing it down as to which one it could be. Fallout 76 is looking like a likely rumor, but a lot of speculation has come out recently with it being maybe New Vegas. I am more on the board with New Vegas. I would love to see New Vegas come to the event. I think that would be a much better version of Fallout that we could go with. I personally would rather us go with the video game rather than the new series, but either or, I'm fine with Fallout coming to the event because it's an idea that we haven't really tackled that much in Horror Nights history. But let's move on to tent number 2. We got this and one more. Tent number 2 is one of our bigger changes, as it is a completely new icon. Last time we had that little like spaceman robot icon. I was thinking that it was Cyborgs last time, but now we have a brand new logo that is unmistakable of what this could possibly be. It is basically a radio tower antenna with electrical bolts coming out of it like radio waves. And there is one person from Horror Nights history that is the greatest radio and television host. And that's HR Blood and Guts. HR Blood and Guts hasn't been at the event in quite some time. I think the last time he was at the event was for HHN 21 for HR Blood and Guts Holidays of Horror, or Horror for the Holidays. I can't exactly remember off the top of my head the name of the house, but it was more related to Christmas-based stories and stuff like that, and holiday-based stories. HR Blood and Guts is a staple of Halloween Horror Nights, and if he comes back to the event, I'll know a lot of people and a lot of fans of the event will be stoked. And I am personally one of them. I have not seen an HR Blood and Guts house. We had a section of HR Blood and Guts in the Scary, Welcome to Scary house from HHN 30. Could this be something related to that maybe, with Scary returning in a more of a compilation house? I'm not sure. I feel like that's something that they would maybe save for next year for the 35th anniversary, but I'm interested in what this could turn into. Now let's move on to our last one. Tent 1 hasn't changed much. It's just a new logo, but it still means the same thing. It's looking even more like this is going to be for Hatchet and Chains. I'm fine with it. Yeah, Hatchet and Chains was one of my favorite parts of the Slaughter Cinema 2 house. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Yeah, Hatchet and Chains, let's bring them to the event. Come on, give me a full fleshed out house of a spaghetti western, and I'm here for it. But now let's talk about the scare zones and shows. Scare zones still showing unknown, but we do have some speculation that we can talk about, as they have started putting out applications for people to get hired for Horror Nights, and one of those applications asked about being able to roller skate, and there are a lot of speculations coming out right now regarding what that means, and people are thinking that this may be related to a possible Mel's Drive-In style scare zone, where we have like zombie or undead waitresses coming around with on roller skates. I personally would love to see them really dive into the story of Mel's Die-In, where we have that sign illuminated during the event. I would love to see them have that whole scare zone in the Hollywood section of Universal Orlando, and just have it kind of funnel towards the actual restaurant. That would be super cool. But this isn't on any speculation maps as of right now. It's just something that is being tossed around as a potential idea. As far as shows, the location for a Lagoon show is still on the map, still unknown. And of course, the flame for Nightmare Fuel is still on the map. But that is it for Speculation Map version 2 from Horror Night Nightmares. If you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure you drop a like and also comment down below. What are you thinking of some of these changes that are on this map? Are you more happy with some of the location changes now? Are you happy with some of the new properties that could possibly be coming to the event this year? I'd like to know down in the comments below. But as always, I'm Michael from Hollow Thrills, giving you the all clear, and all clear means you're out of here. See you guys next time.